Hi guys, I hope that you're very well. It's Sylvana here and I am back for a new video. For today, we will be doing obviously a beautiful tarot card spread dedicated to this full moon in Virgo. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start shuffling the cards. I want you to take a deep breath and think for a second, how do you feel? Try to, put an emotion as to how you feel or a word as to how you feel, and just pick a number between 1 and 4. And what I want you to do then is look at the spreads and see if the pile that corresponds to the number that you have picked makes sense for you. You are welcome to pick more than one number if that suits. And of course, guys, as always, if the number you have picked doesn't really suit you, that's fine. You can always change it for another one. Nothing is set in stone. So yeah, let's just get started. So today we will be doing a spread that will be focused around I'm thinking 3 different cards. So we'll see now as we go along. I really wanted something that kind of makes sense for this for this full moon in Virgo. So first question is going to be, what baggage are you carrying that needs to be addressed? Second is going to be a goal or a dream of yours that maybe you need to pursue. And number 3 is going to be a new healthy habit to explore. So if you're happy to go with those, let's get started. So today I want to use the beautiful Ethereal Visions deck. It's a gorgeous deck, and I really like. It's probably one of my most favorite decks that I own, tarot decks. And there's something about it. It's pure magic. I really enjoy it very much so. And you're gonna see now as we go through the beautiful illustrations what I mean by it's really beautiful. It's like artwork. And so yeah, just take that time to just take a deep breath, just relax and focus on this full moon in Virgo. So what does it remind you of? Does it remind you of the Virgo energy, being a perfectionist, to try to organize chaos in our lives? Maybe that's what a Virgo full moon is for you. Or maybe it's about, I don't know, letting go expectations and to be more clear as to what you need in life. Who knows? You are the master here, and it's for you to decide what this full moon signifies for you. So now let's go and pick some cards. So we've got pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and last but not least, pile number 4. Excellent. So let's get started. So now, guys, if you have picked pile number 1, this is your first card. So the question was, what baggage are you carrying unchecked that needs to be addressed? So the card that you got, guys, very interesting. You got the Justice card. So the Justice card is obviously going to be very much so Libra energy, as we all know. It very much so resonates with that, which is kind of interesting considering, the positioning of the sun and the moon at the moment. It's kind of here to remind us that, maybe for you lately there has been some little difficulties in your life. Maybe there might have been some arguments. Maybe, someone in your life maybe doesn't really approve of your decisions, of your choices, or maybe you don't necessarily agree with the decisions of someone, of a loved one. and or maybe there could have been some lack of accountability, or maybe even, you know, something like dishonesty happening. Well, here the Justice card is here to remind us that it's so important to take a decision at some stage. If you feel that, you know, the current situation is not leading to nothing, that you find it hard to move on, that you have hit, you know, a dead end, that maybe people around you deserve to be told the truth. It's time for you to make a decision and speak your truth. You have to trust yourself, and yeah, just strive for that sense of fairness and truth. And if people don't necessarily agree with what you have to say, if what you have to say doesn't resonate with them, well, you know what, it's not the end of the world. As long as you keep it true to yourself and to your deep beliefs, you know, you're doing the right thing. You know, like, the truth sometimes can hurt, but it has to be said, it has to be told, because that's the only way that you will then feel relieved. And maybe you are at a stage where this is maybe what you need to do. Then the second card was a goal or a dream to pursue. Very interesting. Now, for you guys, we have got here 10 of Swords. So, 10 of Swords can tend to look quite negative as a card, especially if you look at it as its meaning. But what I would like to point out here is we are talking about goals and dreams. So how could you make sense out of this card? It's all about air energy. So for you right now, the focus should be more so about recovering from what you had to go through. Maybe there is also a sense of renewal after something that you had to go through. Maybe acceptance is very important for you right now to focus on, and that sense of yeah, self-acceptance too, maybe to a certain extent, forgiveness, love. Yeah, it's very much so a card to me that signifies also new beginnings. So you know, open yourself to those new beginnings. If a goal or a dream of yours is to start something new, then, you know, after you've felt hurt, or maybe that something bad happened to you, I would say just trust the process, do your best, open yourself to new opportunities, you know, because it's by opening yourself to new opportunities that whatever is old and no longer serving you, that you will get away from it. And yeah, that's the key to success in general, and to winning in life in general. You know, the best way you can do is to face what has to be faced, heal from it, and move on to something better and something brighter. And last but not least, very interesting, guys. Oh god, a new healthy habit to explore for you. It's very, very interesting because the card we have here actually is the devil. So you might be thinking, well, how does that make sense? How is the devil going to tell me what new healthy habit I have to pursue? I know it's a bit strange, but let's look at the devil for a moment from a positive perspective, a positive outlook. What positive outlook can you take away from the card of the devil? Well, it is very much so Saturn energy, so obviously it's going to be all about control, restriction. We all know that in astrology, that's kind of the energy that's there. But for you, I'd say maybe for you, a new healthy habit would maybe be to try for a moment to self-reflect on something particular. Ask yourself, what is it that helps you back, and like truly, like, trying to find a way to explain it's a bit tricky. Like, what is it that truly holds you back? Ask yourself that question. I'd start from that. What is it that truly holds you back? And what is it that you can do to change a situation? Like, how helpless are you to try to change a situation? How desperate are you to to change things and turn them around? Maybe it's important to look at these things from that angle sometimes. It's a bit of a tricky card, but that would be my personal opinion. Try to forget about control. We talked about Saturn energy, that the devil, it's kind of related about that sense of control. Maybe you've been maybe too much of a control freak lately. Maybe you've refused to allow things to let them unfold, and maybe you have refused subconsciously to let things come the way they should. And try maybe to forget about that sense of control and just open yourself to the opportunities that might come your way. You know, you might be afraid of them, but you see, being afraid of them, you know, it's just you know, it's just not gonna help. Try to forget about materialism. Try to forget about addictions. Try to open yourself to something better than that. And yeah, truly ask yourself, what is it that holds you back? And how can you work on unfolding it and releasing it? If that makes sense. I think for me, when I see the devil and I think about a new healthy habit, it's more so about reconsidering certain things, asking myself certain questions that maybe under normal circumstances I might be too scared of reflecting on. You know, try to journal on something like that. You know, that's a good prompt. What is it that holds me back? And how desperate I am right now to change my situation, and see what does that get you to. That would be very interesting. You know, like self-reflection and you know, that sense of perspection can get you a long way. So that's for pile number 1. Let's go for pile number 2. So if you have pick number 2, this is your pile, guys. So let's get started here. What do we have? Interesting. So here, guys, what baggage are you carrying that needs to be addressed? You know, that's unchecked. We have the 8 of Swords. So what does that mean? 8 of Swords is kind of the swords in general in astrology, or in astrology in tarot, will be kind of related to that sense of power and conflict and being mindful of that relationship between your thought process and what you strive for. And here I would say that maybe for you lately, there could have been maybe a need to try to reconsider how do you deal with you know, with disappointment. Maybe lately you have felt a bit trapped in some ways of thinking. Maybe you have been trapped in some negative thought patterns, maybe in some self-limiting beliefs. Maybe you have that isolation. For me also, it talks about isolation, this card, which kind of is a bit ironic considering that we are all isolated due to the pandemic. But here, maybe that isolation has really caused you a lot of difficulties. Maybe you have been disappointed in some areas of your life lately that could be related to being isolated. It doesn't have to be, not necessarily, but it could be. And for you, I would say what you need to do is to try to strive really for release. Try to release for acceptance of your own self, acceptance of other people, but also acceptance of your circumstances, because that's something that could potentially open your eyes on certain things and allow you to open yourself to discovery and discover, you know, a new perspective on life, a new perspective on who you are and how do you position yourself in everything that's going on in your life and people around you. Next, then we have a goal or dream to pursue. So very interesting here. We've got the beautiful Ace of Cups. Yes. So as I mean, Ace of Cups obviously is going to be water energy. So for you, maybe a goal or dream might have been related to maybe your emotions lately, maybe your emotional state or your relationships, which is very interesting here. And for you, I would say that a goal or dream to pursue could be just as simple as trying to trust yourself more, trying to trust your intuition more, and really trusting that gut feeling more. Because you know deep down, by opening yourself to that, a lot of answers will come your way. And this is how you can, you know, open yourself to being more creative, you know, being more inspired in life, being more compassionate, more loving, more aware, all those areas. And by opening yourself to all those areas, you know, it can really open a lot of possibilities and opportunities for you. And last but not least, we've got a new healthy habit to explore. So what is it for you to explore in terms of new healthy habit? We have the Ace of Pentacles, another ace, very interesting. Two aces, that's quite interesting. A lot of newness for you. I think you're being stuck in a rut lately, and that isolation is really causing you difficulties. You need to get out of that rut. Ace is about new beginnings. The number one, as numerology, is associated with new beginnings, fresh starts. You need to do something a little bit different. Try to find things that will really get you out of this terrible bubble you're in, that's just not serving you because of this isolation. So for me, also, Pentacles is going to be earth energy, which is all about Virgo, which is perfect timing because it's all about work, life, health, career, finances, possessions. So all about that, you know, physical life in general. So for you, maybe a new habit that you could try to set up for yourself would be to try to really focus on those physical aspects of life. How can you improve them? How can you be more stable? How can you be more abundant? Try something new. Sometimes it starts from that. We're too scared, you know. We sometimes tend to confuse intuition with fear, and when is, you know, when is one more relevant or accurate than the other? Sometimes you might be asking yourself this question way too often. Here, the Ace of Pentacles is really here to remind you that, you know, really try to focus on that sense of, you know, opening yourself to new perspectives, new projects, new endeavors, and see how that physical aspect of life can bring you a lot of healthy habits. So being more stable, if you're more stable financially, or in terms of your health, or in terms of your career, or in terms of work, that will bring you obviously more prosperity, more abundance. It's all connected. So maybe for you it would be some sort of work around those lines. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, does this all make sense to you? I'd love to hear from you and see if you agree with everything that we're talking about. Does everything make sense? And yes. Now let's move on to pile number 3. So if you have picked pile number 3, this is for you guys. So what baggage are you carrying that's unchecked and that needs to be addressed? Queen of Swords, the one and only. The Queen of Swords, she's kind of here to tell you, obviously, air energy. So obviously for you, it could be related to the mindset. Maybe lately you have to really bring your attention to the way you think, to your values, to maybe that sense of how do you distinguish the good against the bad, your principles. Maybe lately you have been a bit too much like the shadow side of the Queen of Swords. What is the shadow sides of the Queen of Swords? It's pretty much so, you know, she can be distant, she can be a bit overly ambitious, maybe emotional. She could be maybe a little bit cold-hearted, maybe a bit cruel in her own way. That's the negative side of the Queen of Swords. Maybe in some areas of your life you have behaved a little bit like her shadow self, and this could mean that it's time for you maybe to try to question, really revalue your mindset and your principles and how you stand on those areas. Try to be the bright side of the Queen of Swords, which is this beautiful, intelligent, confident figure, and but not the shadow self. The shadow side of the Queen of Swords is definitely not what we should aspire to be. So yeah, maybe just try on how is that ambition in your life. Are you being overly ambitious lately? Maybe you have to just calm it down a touch. Maybe you've been overly emotional. Maybe you need to calm down a touch. Maybe you've been too distant from yourself, from people around you in your life. Try to revalue your relationships. It opens so many doors. It depends on you now to find out which one makes more sense based on your situation. Then we've got a goal or dream to pursue. So for you guys, we've got the Two of Wands. So what does that mean, Two of Wands? Obviously, again, here we have fire energy, which is kind of interesting that so far it's been air and fire. So there's a lot happening for you guys lately. It's kind of the mirror of the soul. That's how I like to explain the wands. So it could be that lately what you need to do is really to focus on what is it that you really want. Take the right decisions as to what you truly want, because you know deep down what's the right decision. You need to open yourself to what can come your way. Open yourself to these opportunities. Plan ahead. Prepare yourself. Because you are well able, you are capable of it. Try to urge to take action in what arises in your life, and that would be the best way for you to make the most out of everything. So really, that would be my message for you. And then last but not least, we've got a new healthy habit to explore. So very interesting here, guys. We have the Seven of Swords. So what does that mean for you guys? Seven of Swords, again, we are back to air energy, very much so about mindset. So it's, for me, it's very interesting card because it really talks about that sense of responsibility, of acceptance, of how do you face challenges and what does commitment mean to you. But also, it's also, for me, it also questions yourself. Like, it's kind of, if you have picked this pile, for me, the message here, if there was anything for you to remember, it's more so to ask yourself, how can you be strategic in what you do? That's really what you need to work on, and really focus on a few tasks, you know, that will get you closer to your goals rather than doing too much all at once. You know the rule of the 20-80%, you know, how 20% can account for 80% of your results. So, you know, it kind of works that way. So yeah, really try to be, you know, strategic about that, and you know, maybe even try to see how you can resolve some difficulties you've had lately in your life maybe faster, because by resolving these problems that are holding you back, you'll get quicker to where you need to be. So that would be, for me, the main message here for you behind the Seven of Swords. And last but not least, let's go for pile number 4. So if you guys have picked pile number 4, this is your pull now. So what baggage are you carrying that unchecked that needs to be addressed? Well, very interesting, guys, but we've got here the Six of Wands. Very interesting here. So Six of Wands is very much so fire energy. So it's that image of, you know, that mirror of the soul, as I like to explain it. You know, that sense of self, that sense of creativity, and very much so about how you take action in the world, and how do you face what's coming your way. And for you here, I would say that maybe if you pick this pile, Six of Wands, means that maybe lately you have had a bit of difficulties with trust. Maybe you've been doubting people in your life. Maybe you've been doubting yourself. Maybe you've been doubting the universe, the process, something. It could also be a misdirection or a lack of direction in your life lately that could be holding you back. It could also be related to an idea of neglect. Maybe you feel neglected. Maybe you have neglected certain areas of your life. And last but not least, it also speaks about the ego. Six of Wands really has that image of the ego. So maybe lately your ego has been taking too much place. And that's something that needs to be rewired, reconsidered, revalued. And then we have a goal or a dream to pursue. So guys, that's very interesting. Now we're gonna see how we can understand this. But here we have a Three of Swords. Yes, beautiful, Three of Swords. But what does that mean? Well, Three of Swords is kind of, again, as we said, air energy. So very much so about that idea of the mindset, the way of thinking, your sense of values. And for you, you know, yeah, it's very much so what you aspire to in that sense of, yeah, how does that rate with your mindset? So maybe what you need to aspire to, it's as simple as, you know, forgiveness. You know, maybe lately you've been going through a lot emotionally, which we can see a lot with this beautiful illustration here. Maybe what you need is recover from something that happened to you lately that was very hard, very tough, and you just need to really work on that recovery, on that healing, and maybe do a little bit of introspection as to, you know, remind yourself that pain and sorrow and sadness, and as sad as it sounds, they are actually part of the world we live in, and they are part of life. Life is not just happiness from day one to the end of the journey. Happiness is one element, but sadness, pain is also part of this journey. You know, as much as we would rather not it to be the case. But what you should remind yourself is that there is something beautiful in pain. There's something quite mystical and magical about pain, which we can see here, is that pain opens us to something bigger. Pain allows us to understand that by facing it, by understanding it, we have to heal from it then. And by healing from it, we will grow, we will expand. And that's something that can be done only through pain. As nice as happiness is, it does not allow us to achieve that. And this is the message I want to leave you with this today, is that the Three of Swords is here to remind you that for you to achieve your dream, your goal, you might be going through pain, or you might be afraid of going through pain. But here the message is very clear to me, and it should be clear to you as well. It will be fine. It's part of the process. You will never learn, you will never grow, you will never expand otherwise if it wasn't for pain. There's something beautiful about it. You just have to open yourself to understand it, and it will serve you then. And last but not least, a new healthy habit to explore. So here we have the Five of Swords. What does that mean? Again, we are here talking about earth energy. So here the message is kind of more so about resolution. It's time for forgiveness. So as we said earlier, something could have happened to you that maybe hurt you, but now it's time to settle for forgiveness and understanding what we're going through, and that sense of unity after conflict. Maybe that's what happened to you, but now is the time to just move on if that's what needs to be done. You know, sometimes you need to find compromise, sometimes you need to move on, see whichever one resonates with you the most based on what you had to go through and how you feel. And this could be an opportunity either for you to apologize to someone, or maybe for you to forgive someone for what was done. And you know, make amends so that everyone can move on. I think that that would be the best way to describe this card here. So yeah, that would be it for today, guys. I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comment section below, what did you think about this card pull? Did you enjoy this tarot reading? I would love to hear your thoughts. Which pile number did you pick? I want to know as well. That's very interesting. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up. It always helps. And make sure also you subscribe to this channel if you have not done it already. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I wish you a beautiful full moon in Virgo, and I will be talking to you tomorrow. See you, guys.